All right, welcome everybody. This is Christian Pankhurst here in the Heart Kitchen. And I've got my guest, Simon Gale, founder of the Heart Kitchen. Welcome. So, I've got some questions for you, Simon, because food is my passion too. Not yet in preparing and cooking it, but hopefully with your guidance it will become one. But I'm kind of curious to know just how important is being present and really taking the time to prepare and enjoy that process of making food in people's lives, because you know we live in a crazy life. It's very much fast food paced and you know, busy professionals. We don't always have time to take the time to make, prepare and do all the things that you say. So inspire me to change.
Yeah, great.
Instead of just buying it all.
Yeah,
ready meals.
ready meals, ready made. Wow. Yeah. I've come to really realise over the last few years how important it is just for me to firstly be present with myself, and then having that opportunity to start to get present with the food that that I create. Really important. Really important to, it brings alive that honouring of the whole journey. It brings everything together for me, from the sourcing to the kind of excitement of like, wow, with all this stuff, what can we do?
But surely it's just a whole bunch of chemicals in some form that our bodies and vehicles just need for fuel and energy, right? You're making it sound like it's some spiritual experience.
Yeah.
What's that extra bit that you're talking about there? How do you define
It's that combination of the ingredient, the presence with that ingredient, the passion that comes alive inside of me, the love, the energy that then I can transfer or just give to that food with my presence or attention. It just changes the whole dynamic. It changes everything. It changes our whole experience. I would say like life. If we consistently push down or resist those feelings that often emerge as like the food, then we'll have a kind of mediocre experience. We'll have a takeaway experience maybe, or so we can really lift that mediocre kind of okay experience to something wow that inspires us, that inspires others, that brings connection. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're talking about it, like the thing that we're adding really is that interconnection with other people. Is that what you're saying? That having this, it's a community experience, or?
Yeah, it can be, yeah. That's.
Or are you saying that taste itself is actually amplified and increased through this practice?
Yeah.
I mean, in other words, am I literally going to enjoy my food more?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It's, by becoming more present with ourselves, tuning into, you know, what's our body telling us? What messages is it giving us? What does our heart tell us? What's our thoughts about food? Conditioning. If we start to unravel some of that and get clear around ourselves, and start to then involve that in the food, in the connection from the food, we have a greater experience of life.
So what happens if my heart and my body's telling me that I really want to have chocolate a lot?
Have chocolate.
Well, what happens if I want that all the time?
Okay, so if that is a true experience for you, then there's an opportunity to look further backwards maybe at where that came from. Where did your love of chocolate in huge amounts come into your life?
Actually, the pop-up that I just got there was, I think my mum made me this chocolate hedgehog cake, and it's one of my most fondest memories of childhood.
Yeah.
And I think I associate that with, you know, that motherly attention and love. And I always think back to, you know, getting those, what do you call those Cadbury's, what do you call those little disc-shaped chocolate things for the spikes?
For the
spikes of the hedgehog.
Yeah, I never had them.
Like
maybe
buns.
Oh, chocolate buns.
Chocolate buns for the
chocolate buns.
spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I just associated that with, you know, love maybe.
Yeah.
Feeling fulfilled.
Yeah, feeling fulfilled. you know, when I start to explore that part of me, that part that kind of really wants to have chocolate in large amounts, but there's a deeper part of me that kind of knows. There's a feeling that, hey, you know, in moderation, this will be okay. And it's that wonderful practice that we shared together in our lives about discerning between memory and thought and tuning into ourselves, tuning into our body, tuning into all of us, and just trusting that the message will come through.
Yeah.
And we can kind of just move that on quicker by getting clear about that, getting aware around the food that we put into our mouths. You know, does it feel good? Does it satisfy us? Maybe it satisfies our mind, but does it satisfy our heart, our being? So does that help with the
Yeah,
question?
no, it does. It does.
Yeah.
You know, something else that I'm thinking about as we're talking is one of the things that I love about spending time with you and your family is dinner time.
Yeah.
There's something so special about being in the presence of your family and how they enjoy the food that you create, but also the fact that you are so passionate and so enjoy around preparing that food. It's just a wonderful environment to be in. It's one of my most favorite things to
Wow.
experience around you
Thank
guys. How important is what you're doing here in Heart Kitchen with community? How vital is that ingredient?
Wow. Yeah. I just remember that somewhere in my distant past I was told these wonderful words that kind of nations and cultures have been born on food. It's part of them, it's part of their journey. So the connection between the preparation and taking it to that wonderful table where we experience what you just shared, then becomes a reality, becomes alive. It's something that we can start to work with. There's nothing more wonderful than bringing a bunch of people together, into the kitchen, let's say, into the table, and an opportunity just to share wonderful food, but share stories, share self. Show up.
Yeah, it sounds very ancestral and ancient
Yeah,
for us to get together and tell each other our stories.
yeah,
And that's something, you know, with something so primal and vital as food.
yeah, like our fuel.
Yeah,
It's the fuel that we add to ourselves,
Yeah.
that inspires us, and something moves in me when that is in my life.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's so fascinating that you're combining, you know, your passion for food with heart intelligence, because as we know, you know, heart intelligence is so built on these foundations of, you know, getting still and listening and tuning in and really feeling what does, you know, my body want, while also getting really embodied to taking that, you know, in terms of the action of preparing and actually consuming and digesting and using that energy that allows us to do everything we want to do in life. I mean, the food is so important that we put in there. And so this powerful merging of those two arts of how to better connect with our hearts and each other and food, I think it's great. And I hear that you are now creating a kind of like a special day event, right? Where we're not only just going to practice heart intelligence, but at some point in the day, we're going to get together, as far as I understand, and create food together. Is that right? And then actually eat it together as a community in that evening. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
See, I absolutely love that idea. I think it's, you know, and it's not something that I would bring. Hence, you know, we would be having, I don't know, Indian takeout, but
Or chocolate.
or chocolate hedgehog, or just salad. Another one of my favourites. But this idea sounds so. You know, when you shared it to me just this morning, I remember my whole body lit up just thinking about that, because what a wonderful way to spend time with friends and family. You just spend a day, you know, just daring to be vulnerable with each other and connecting and enjoying each other's presence. And now we do something like sit around a table, and not just sit around the table that you've prepared. You're saying they will actually help create that meal.
Yeah, yeah.
And learn what it means to really be part of joyful food preparation.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. And yeah, you know, close your eyes right now and visualize this part that during this journey we create together, we connect with each other while we're creating. Really important. We then get to embody and practice and play with all of this stuff. And then we get to spend time in wonderful surroundings together, sharing, communicating from our hearts, and feeling that extra ingredient of love in the food.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Wow.
And where can people find out more? Because I know I can't, this is something I want to be part of as much as possible. Where can people find out about when you're doing these little gastronomic explosions of practice day heart intelligence? Where?
Yeah. Well, www.heartiqkitchen.co.uk.
Fantastic.
Follow us on Facebook.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter. We're going to deliver some incredible resources on that website: interaction, food sharing, recipes, blogs, scrapbooks, little like these demos together, these sharings. And so you'll find all the information on there. You'll find links. You'll find links to my friend here, Christian, at christianpankhurst.com. If you're inspired by this little sharing today and want to learn just more about heart intelligence, and not just about the food, but how that could come into any part of your life, then I really encourage you, this is inspirational, it's inspired me, it's cutting edge, it's new, it's fresh, this guy's fresh, so I really encourage that. So, and community, there's a community of us, so we can all connect there, we share. One little sharing can lead to so much more, so I really encourage you guys to visit us. Yeah.
Sounds wonderful. And just very quickly, what's your favourite food?
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure you're being asked that all the time.
Yeah. Favourite food? I love...
Bangers and mash?
Yeah, bangers and mash. All food, really. There's something interesting in everything. Even a takeaway food, we can find joy in that.
Sure.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like you were speaking earlier about your love for British food specifically.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about why that's the case?
Yeah, it's really...
Because I didn't think Britain had any food, did it?
Yeah,
well... Was that really the wrong thing to say?
Yeah. We kind of, over the years, Britons are really good at kind of being magpies, kind of collecting stuff, spices, materials.
You mean stealing other people's recipes?
Yeah, like the magpie, stealing recipes, adapting them, food fact that curry is the #1 dish in the UK these days.
Yeah, it's obviously from India.
Yeah, so that journey has come through. It's part of us, But great question. Italian food, I love the way that Italians embody every part of the journey for them. Yeah. You'll see it. Speak to an Italian. Go and find one.
Wonderful. And where did this passion come from, this fire? I mean, I told you about my chocolate hedgehog story, but what about your chocolate hedgehog? Do you have a chocolate hedgehog equivalent? Like what turned you on to a particular passion, either for a specific dish or for food in general? I mean,
simply, just simply following my heart,
but what was the impulse? When did you realise that love for food existed? Were you 6? Were you 10?
Gosh, yeah.
I mean, not everybody has this level of fire about food.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So that must have been born somewhere. Where? How? What age?
I suppose when I go back into those early years, like 6 years old, a story I shared earlier on some of my footage around being in the presence and with my granddad. All of those memories come flooding back. The connection was kind of born then for me. And it's something that, interestingly enough, followed me throughout my kind of younger years and then disappeared. And has food then been a way for you to connect with other? Yeah, I've always found it, and I don't believe it just to be food. It could be any part of our life, something that I'm passionate about. Food. I'm passionate about my passion. Yeah, I get that. I'd ask that question to yourself. What are you passionate about? We've all got that in us. We've all got that part of us. There's something there. It's that. How do we connect to it? Yeah. What's the spark? Yeah. What's the memory? Where did that come from? Does that sound good? It all sounds wonderful. But it's just that question. I'm always fascinated by what sources somebody's passion for a particular thing.
is it, you know, like my passion for heart intelligence was actually sourced through a trauma of being disconnected and then having that passion to get connected again. So I was just curious to know whether you found that your passion for food, and I know you're a passionate guy in life generally, but specifically your passion for food was born out of a desire to connect with others, that was a medium for that.
I
was
always
just curious.
you know, my earliest memory of that is it was a vehicle or tool that I used or was in my box of stuff I could use to connect with with my family, you know, with my granddad, with my grandmother. With
Now
my
I
mum.
noticed you're talking about granddad, grandmother.
Yeah, they were a big influence in this.
I get it, because your parents obviously...
Yeah, there was this, you know, distance from them. You know, my father spent most of his life abroad. My mother wasn't really connected to food in the same way.
So was it true then in the earlier years you kind of were brought up in a kind of a disconnected environment?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So do you think then food played a role in healing, at least for yourself, and now when you have a family that you're doing it again differently?
Yeah.
You're making sure that they don't have the same experience that you grew up with?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I believe that to be true. And when I couple that with a powerful memory, boy, does that start to feel good.
Yeah.
Start to feel.
So it creates like the why power, the reason for doing it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Well, I can't wait to take part, and I encourage anybody watching this to come along to one of Simon's Heart Intelligence Practice Days, gastronomical heart kitchen. What do you call one of those days?
We're just starting with the words heart kitchen.
It's a heart kitchen day.
Yeah. I say heart kitchen with a twist of heart intelligence.
Yeah, that's great. So if you want to come and do that, I know I can't wait to do it and to be part of that. I think it's just going to be amazing. So get yourself to one of those days soon. I'm sure you'll find details somewhere on this page or on this site.
Yeah.
And until next time, we'll see you soon.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you, Christian.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.